Hello, good morning. It's such a glittering morning and the excitement that comes with sports. It is often said that when sports turns up, class mountains, the inhabitants were unhappy. Sadness roaming the whole of Africa. If you followed the game, the French defending champions at the World Cup took on the Moroccans, the Atlas Lions. The Lions were made to look like goats. At the end of it, side winning 2-0. So, Ballon d'Or winner in the nearest future, Kylian Mbappe, met the mess of the Moroccans. Well, on the other hand, today we'll be looking at the excitement in the world of sports. Most importantly, the big stories with the likes of Michel in basketball, the NBA stories. And we'll narrow down to the gossips around the world of football. There are intending gossips regarding the direct after now. Brings excitement and thrills all around the globe. In the corners of the USA, there are excitements in the world of basketball. Michel inspires Cavaliers to find road win over Mavericks. Donovan Mitchell scored 34 massive points as the Cleveland Cavaliers claimed an impressive 105-90 road win over Luka Doncic in the Eastern Conference, while the Mavs slipped to a 14-14 and 9th in the West. Mitchell was an inspired mood against the side who bundled his former franchise, the Utah Jazz, out of the last season's playoffs, shooting 13 of 20 from the field, most he has had in a half of the season. Mitchell had good support from Lamar Stevens with 18 points and 11 rebounds, while Evan Mobley added 14 points, 7 rebounds and 6 assists. The victory ended the Cavs' recent road struggles, having lost 8 of their past 9. An MRI on today in the Philadelphia after injuries on his left shoulder in the Golden State Warriors 125-119 loss at the Indiana Pacers. Curry sustained the injury with 2 minutes left in the third quarter after attempting to strip Indiana's Jalen Smith of the ball as Smith drove to the hoop. Curry immediately grabbed his left shoulder and continued to hold it as he ran down the court. The Warriors subsequently called a timeout, and Steph Rick Celebrini. He was officially ruled out of the game in the fourth quarter. He scored half of the Warriors' points in the first half, putting up 27 massive points. Curry finished with 38 points, nearly half of the Warriors' 80 points from the free throw line. Well, better than yesterday's game for Steph Curry. The season of the 2023 Basketball Africa League, BAL, will tip off on March 11 in Senegal. The organizers revealed this yesterday. Senegal, Egypt, and Rwanda are the 3 countries listed to host this year's championship. The 2023 BAL season will feature top 12 clubs and their teams from 12 African countries, playing a total of 38 games in Dakar, Senegal, Cairo, Egypt, and Kigali, Rwanda, over 3 months. According to NBA Africa, the 12 clubs in the championship will be divided into 2 conferences, Sahara and Nile, which will play 15-game group phase each. Sahara Conference will play at the Dakar Indoor Sport Complex in Cairo from April 26 to May 6. The top 4 teams will from each conference will advance to an 8-game single elimination playoff and finals at BK Arena in Kigali from May 21st to 27th. Now to boxing. Anthony Joshua is confident he will fight Deontay Wilder in 2023. The Brit, who's 33 years of age, is hoping to bounce back. Was asked by GQ if he would fight Wilder, to which he replied, "Let's look at the future. It will definitely happen. We're in the same division, we're in the same era. That means the fight has to happen. 2023 is looming. It's a big year for boxing, and that fight will definitely happen," according to Joshua. It could take place as early as March, but this could prove too soon, is a story around the world of boxing. And in football, Cristiano Ronaldo training at Real Madrid, the training base after Manchester United exit. Cristiano Ronaldo has been using Real Madrid's training base to keep fit after Portugal's World Cup exit. Is a story around Cristiano and Portugal and Manchester United. After his contract at Manchester United was cancelled last month, Ronaldo is free to join another club in the 1st of January. Saudi Arabian club Al Nassr have been a big money offer for the 37-year. There is no option of a return to the Spanish club. In asking Real to use that training facility rather than take a break following Portugal's early exit, Ronaldo has given a clear indication he's ready to join a new club at the earliest opportunity. And now to Qatar at the World Cup. France set up a World Cup final against Argentina after goals from Theo Hernandez and Randall Kolo Muani secured a 2 to return to the final at the next edition with another efficient performance at El Bat Stadium. Hernandez struck his France race into the 5th-minute lead against Africa's first World Cup semi-finalists, although Morocco were in the ascendancy for large parts. That pressure brought no reward, and substitute Kolo Muani, 79-minute second, ensured France beat to become await in the form of Lionel Messi and Argentina as they aim to join Italy 1938 and Brazil's 1962 side as the only sides to successfully retain their crown. And in Manchester United, they're set to make an inquiry about the availability of Benfica striker Gonçalo Ramos, ahead of looking to add to a forward in the January window following the departure of Cristiano Ronaldo. Ramos is among a number of players being followed, including Cody Gakpo, Rafael Leo, and Joao Felix. It's not the ideal time to bring in a new player. There are significant budget constraints as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, and Hack, however, believes the squad is short of firepower following Ronaldo's exit and would like the club to explore whatever options are available. Well, that is the outlook in the sports wrap-up. Don't go anywhere.
Messi, oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
When it comes to football, the passion is unrivaled and the heat never stops. Be a part of the unending action on Battle of the Fans. Never goes out of style.
To delay the progress of the league, it means you're not capable.
They have done their job. If to be honest, if you look at them, they have done their job.
Join us Wednesdays 5 to 6:30 p.m. Saturdays 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Only on Spectrum Television.
It is Cristiano Ronaldo! What goal! What a finish!
Battle of the Fans. Exclusive to Spectrum TV. Football's biggest festival, the moment players have prepared for their entire careers. The Qatar 2022 FIFA World Cup is here. Catch every beat of action. In-depth game analysis, test your football knowledge and win memorable prizes at the Tough Media Qatar 20. Ronaldo explode, Neymar and the Samba Boys, Mbappe and the Blues, Mane and the Teranga Lions of Senegal. Do not just watch the World Cup, experience it at the Tough Media Qatar 2022 World Cup Experience. Venue again, Discovery Park Udo Umana Uyo, from November 20th to December 18, 2022. Stand by for the high anxiety and
Messi. Oh my goodness.
On Battle of the Fans. With expert analysis, previews and reviews of the biggest games in the biggest leagues, as well as football fan banter that never goes out of style.
To delay the progress of the league. It means you're not capable.
They have done their job. If to be honest, if you look at them, they have done their job.
Join us Wednesdays, 5 to 6:30.
What goal! What a finish!
Battle of the Fans. Exclusive to Spectrum TV. Season's greetings from Spectrum TV.
The monthly.
Football's biggest festival, the moment players have prepared for their entire careers. The Qatar 2022 FIFA World Cup is here. Catch every beat of action. In-depth game analysis, test your football knowledge and win memorable prizes at the Top Media Qatar 2022 World Cup Experience. Venue, Discovery Park, Udomana, Uyo. Watch Messi do his last dance. Ronaldo explode World Cup. Experience it at the Top Media Qatar 2022 World Cup Experience. Venue again, Discovery Park, Udo Umana Uyo. From November 20th to December 18, 2022. Stand by for the high anxiety and expectations. Football fans, are you ready? Season's greetings from Spectrum TV. Season's greetings.
is still here alongside Marizona. Now it's time to talk in real fine details. Now let's begin with the boxing story, Blyden, very quickly. The story of the Deontay Wilder Anthony Joshua fight is been slated now for late 2023. Now, while many, I don't know how many people looked forward to this fight, but the headlining fight was, Alexander Usyk versus the possibility of Deontay Wilder facing, Alexander Usyk. But here's AJ versus Wilder. It's now confirmed.
Well, not totally, but it's a projection from AJ, because I had a conversation some time ago, recently anyway, and the conversation was about when he's going to fight Deontay Wilder. Because before Tyson Fury even came to the picture after that break for Tyson Fury, where he was suspended, it began to be an issue, big issue for him. At some point, everyone was looking forward to the top 2 fighters at the time, with Anthony Joshua being the handler of about 3 belts at a time, while Deontay Wilder was with the WBC belt. So afterwards, a lot of talking points have been talked, but Tyson Fury came, changed the dynamics, had beaten Wilder at the time. So everyone is going back to that question. Now we've seen Anthony Joshua against Alexander Usyk, he's lost, and we've seen Deontay Wilder, he's not the main guy anymore. So now, who can he fight? Can we now have that fight between Anthony Joshua and Wilder? And the projection is most likely next year, 2023, the fight will come up, maybe around August. A lot of speculations from the Wilder camp, and Anthony Joshua has been a decent British boxer over the years. Big fight it would be, big money spinning fight, unifying the US fighter and the British fighter. What a combo, what a fight it would be.
Right now, while Joshua, didn't confirm exactly when that fight would take place, but whenever it happens, well,
point the biggest names in boxing. Look at Deontay Wilder. At some point, he was one of the biggest names. The Bronze Bomber was his nickname then, but things came crashing down when he lost the trilogy fight, of course, against Tyson Fury at some point. And for the same story for Anthony Joshua as well, since losing, back-to-back to Usyk, it's been a downturn in form for him. So, maybe it's an avenue for both boxers to test each other's method, of course, get themselves back on track. But there's a lot that will happen before then, because there's Usyk against Dubois, looking forward to. So I think there's a lot that will happen.
And Andy Ruiz.
Andy Ruiz is also lurking around as
before
well.
the fight.
So I think there's a lot that will happen before Joshua finally takes on Deontay Wilder. But I think it's going to be an interesting bout, and let's look forward to how it happens. But then there's a lot that will happen before then. So
if it really gets to happen.
Yeah, if it happens, I would love it to happen basically, because it's been a case of 2 fighters that have come
right now. While they are still especially scarce as to whether when the fight would actually happen, Eddie Hearn, Joshua's promoter, is confirmed that indeed negotiations and talks have begun, in both camps. So the Anthony Joshua camp talking with the, Deontay Wilder formed as well. Now let's talk about these stories from basketball. Let's begin with the Cleveland Cavaliers, claiming an impressive, away from home game win early as of this morning against Luka Doncic's Dallas Mavericks. Well, you look at the margin, on the road this particular season, and they've lost 8 of the 9 games they played away from home. This win definitely does mean a whole lot for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Yeah,
definitely. Obviously, it means a whole lot for them basically, and then secondly, due to the fact that the defeated, a team that's going on the biggest names in basketball this season, talk about Luka Doncic, Dallas Mavericks, basically. So that came in the first half of this particular game. It was a good win for them, and of course, they've gradually gotten themselves back on track. At the start of the season, they were struggling, and of course they've had a few bad results on the road, but basically right now they're on an 18-11 record, 18 wins and 11 losses, and they sit 3rd in the conference. Clearly shows you the quality that they've gotten. And of course, posting 14.7 rebounds also was a key story, because it's not been that good of a player this particular season if you look at his performance, but it was a holistic team performance from the Cleveland Cavaliers as continued that chase to qualify for the playoffs later this particular season. But for me, it was a good win. Right, it brings back the conversation for the Mavericks. When you have just one star putting up a performance for you, and once he struggles, the whole team struggles. Look at Doncic yesterday. He posted over 30 in form for the Mavericks, and whenever Doncic doesn't turn up, the whole team does not turn up, and I think that should change. Other players in the team will have to rise up to the occasion and of course come through for the team if they have intentions of qualifying for the playoffs. Now
let's stay with the Cleveland Cavaliers, Blind, very quickly. Last season, the man Donovan Mitchell helped his side beat his former side, Utah Jazz, in the first round playoffs. They crashed out of the second round playoffs. And looking at the way the season has started for them in the regular season, well, how far do you think they'll be dreaming of going when the playoffs enters?
Well, first of all, let me say I don't know what's happening with Michel. Exceptional player. Watch him out there. You look at the limitations were coming from the team. But this season, He's been something else, more like a beast for me. Quality basketballer, and he's turning up for the Cleveland side. Exceptional stuff I'm going through. And most likely, you see the way the Clevelands are playing this season. Good opportunity. Surely they might just go into the playoff, and who knows what might happen moving forward. Especially when he have to beat Luka Doncic's side away from home, and such quality. And him hitting this massive 34 points, and Luka Doncic having just 30 points in this game, which wasn't good enough.
Of the Golden State Warriors. Well, they are 38-point hero in the early hours of this morning. We're talking about the ever-present Steph Curry. Well, got injured, and we understand he needs, MRI scan later today to determine the extent of the damage done on that left shoulder. Well, he was injured his left shoulder in that loss against the Indiana Pacers early as of this morning. 120. This man, he had 11 of 19 shooting, including 5 3-pointers, and a perfect 11 from the free throw line. Well, it's got to be massive. We talk about the loss of Steph Curry this one, but that's not confirmed. Beyond the loss of Steph Curry, let's talk about what happened even with him on the court. The Golden State Warriors are definitely struggling. We're talking about their second loss now in the space of 3 games, this time against the Indiana Pacers. Now, with Steph Curry, they've struggled. Just imagine what it would look like without Steph Curry.
Will be bad. It will be bad. But I look at this game and begin to think probably if Steph was still part of the game, maybe the outcome would have
win for the Indiana Pacers.
That's what we're talking about. But I have to give a lot of credit to Indiana Pacers. They showed quality for me in regular season. This is the second time they've beaten the Golden State Warriors 2-0 now for them on the road, and it shows that quality, what they bring to happen in this one. The last time we saw them perform this way, I've seen decent performance from the side.
I think it was just a bad day enough as well for the Warriors, basically, because, apart from the fact that, the key man Curry went out, Draymond Green, who a lot of basketball fans were thinking he should come through, with the absence of Curry. He was tossed off with a second technical foul in this particular game, and then he contributed a few points before he was,
Draymond Green is not more for his defense than
basically,
than the point.
Yeah, but when he went, the Warriors were leading at some point. It was I think it was 4 or 5 points margin, and then when he left, the defense was left little open, basically, and that was just a story. And that has been a sad story for the Warriors. But I think holistically for the team, it's been a sad turn for them because, despite, the performance of Curry, he posts 30+ points almost every other game, but the team doesn't win, even with the performance of the side. So I think 15 wins and 14 losses for defending champions. That's not the way I expected them this season.
Right, well, there's a whole lot, outside the Steph Curry and, of course, the Golden State Warriors story. There's Damian Lillard, stayed red hot. If you followed his 3-point scoring streak, well, that definitely continues. LaMelo Ball returned, but wasn't a dream return. He was envisaging, let's see what the weekend holds from the NBA. The regular season definitely continues, and we're looking forward to the wrap-up here. And, of course, we'll talk about the playoffs, the business end of season, as I always call it, in a bit. Before will be between Morocco and Croatia. But let's talk about the game from last night. France, Morocco reliving the night after this short timeout. All right, so many thanks for staying right here with us. A quick one, and now we're back like we never left. Let's talk about the FIFA World Cup in Qatar. Well, the second semi-final was up and running from last night. The champions, we're talking the French national team. At the end of it was 2 goals from, very unlikely goal scorers. Phil Hernandez early in that particular game, the first or the fastest semi-final goal since 1978. And of course, later on, Colomwani popped up from the bench in between after that first goal line. We saw the Atlas Lions throwing more men forward, committed more men forward, had lots of chances, saw more of the ball, but France stayed resolute. They suffered, but of course got the win needed at the end of it. What do you make of the game overall?
Well, disappointing from an African perspective, disappointing from a Moroccan perspective, because it was a game that lacked opportunity to score, but they failed to do that. And just as we watched the game and heard the commentators screaming that you've got to take your opportunity, but it goes on to talk about a picture of life. When you've got opportunity in life, make use of it. Otherwise, you never can tell. Other people will utilize it. And that's basically what we saw with Kylian Mbappe at that moment. did that trick movement inside the box for the second goal, tried to hit the ball, what life should be for many of us. But look at it, Bright Gems. Quality game. You look at it, what's scattered around it. The French are top side, I must say, top quality side. If he need a team with distractions, it ought to be the French side. Kylian Mbappe on the left, Ousmane Dembele on the right, Antoine Griezmann in the middle. And guess what? Yesterday, Tchouameni got the best. Looked stable yesterday, but disappointing from a Moroccan point of view. It could have been a better result. Maybe Africa would have been shouting on top of their voices in the final, but it never got to happen.
No. Now, Blyden talked about the frailties for the Moroccans. Now, you know, missing a lot of chances or not taking the chances as they came. You know, put perspectives to it. What else was missing in that?
You know, regardless substitutions, basically they say you understood the system and of course the intention, because you know Nestor was getting off frustrated, had just a few touches in the game, and then you know he just wasn't in the game, so he wanted somebody that with pace and a lot more bite in the Hamed guy that came in. But Hamed wasn't the finisher, obviously. I mean, he missed a couple of chances that should have gotten. And then secondly, Bright, Morocco came with a defensive system in that particular game, but you know that system crashed the 5th minute when Theo Hernandez scored. So they had to regroup and reshuffle and re-strategize, and then that was why we saw some attacking players getting into the team and then trying to score. They created chances, right? But I think they were just not able to finish it, and that was the problem overall for them yesterday. But holistically, I think it was good performance from the Moroccan side. We judge it from the fact that both of the players started the game were half fit. You saw the man, the Roman size, had to be taken off due to fitness concerns. Naif Agud also was doubtful for the particular game, had to play. He was half fit as well. You know, so holistically, it was a good game for the Moroccans, and I think team in semi-finals of the World Cup, and they have to be proud of themselves for what they've done. They've been able to achieve the particular one. But the French national team, of course, stayed good, stayed resolute, and then kudos to some key performance. Antoine Griezmann has been key for the team so far, so good. He's been integral in that midfield for them. I mean, he's everywhere. I saw his hit at Bright. He was basically every single place in that particular game yesterday for them, and of course helped them to that particular win. Randall Kolomwani, well, there's no way to start your campaign and of course start your goal scoring record for your team than your first touch basically was good for them. But I think that the game against Argentina will come a lot more intense for them. They might not get, you know, what they're getting against.
France talk about, you know, two players and their introduction and how much that changed the complexity of the game for France. First, the stats for Ibrahima Konate, the difference he made in that centre back position, and the introduction of Marcus Thuram's son. We're talking Lilian Thuram.
Yeah.
Well, the game opened up a little bit the moment he got on that pitch, didn't it?
Yeah, surely. Let me start with Thuram. They've been talked about a replacement for Giroud in the future. Some people even think Thuram should start, but I do not think so. Deschamps has been sticking with Giroud in recent times, and he's been delivering for him. But here's the problem with Giroud to the middle as an attacker, and that was the difference. This is the thing about Thuram. He's strong, he's physical, and he can as well play the ball, dragging a lot of the Moroccan players to himself. At the end of it, the magic ended with the foot of Kylian Mbappe. I think that was the difference. That quick turning and that movement inside the ball, and the slip ball came where he tried to strike, and it ended up in the legs of Mane. But look, when you have to look at Konate, quality defender, he's young. That's the beauty about it from a French point of view. For me, basically, it wouldn't be on the bench if I were the French manager, because he brings quality. They're a little slow, but his timing perfecto. I must tell you, look, I saw the clearance he did. Some two dangerous clearance, had to stop it from a Moroccan point of view and save the French side from conceding a goal. And that's what we're talking about. He's tall, looks like a giant, and he's fantastic with his foot. For me, it really added up to the game the way they played.
You know, that they had to call him for doping test yesterday. You know, Konate and Joe Skun, they had to be someone for a doping test because they were really too good. You know, going up and down, of course, defending very deep. So I hope.
Yeah, Koundé too.
Yeah, Koundé was good.
Quite impressive.
He's one unsung hero for the French national team. He's played that right back position so well, so good in the absence of Benjamin Pavard. And
maybe not adding much moving forward, but staying there, he's been very decent.
Obviously, and he's been good.
They had a good clearance yesterday too.
Yeah, off the line clearance.
Yeah, off the line clearance basically.
Well, France have become the first side since Brazil in 1998 to reach back-to-back finals. So they arrive as defending champions and have reached the finals, and we're looking to become the third side since Italy. They would have to see off Argentina's Lionel Messi. Well, that will be the story for when we return later tomorrow. Blyden, let's wrap up this conversation with Morocco. Now, Morocco has laid down the marker. The whole of Africa must now respond. Morocco has showed that indeed it is possible, even for an African team to go as far as possible at the FIFA World Cup. Now the challenge is down. How do you think the rest of Africa, particularly the big weeks, Egypt, the Ivory Coast, we're talking Algeria, Nigeria as well.
No, he didn't start well.
Ghana.
Start with Nigeria. That's where he supposed to start.
Nah, start with Senegal.
How do you think?
I saw Senegal for the first time go to the World Cup, beat the defending champion France in the first game, got to the knockout stage and then the quarterfinals. And you could see the way they played. It seemed like there was a benchmark quarterfinals. And it was okay the way they played against Hakan Souk or Turkey at the time. They were so good. And guess what? They just were comfortable. We've done enough and they went home. You can't take anything away from Turkey that year. Turkey were fantastic. But look, from an African perspective, in whatever area of skills you can do, I always learn from football and relate football to life. Look, the benchmark has been set, another benchmark, semi-finals, but not just that. I think an African side can take it a little bit a notch higher. But the perspective is, if you were told that Morocco would be the team to take Africa to the quarterfinals, maybe most people would say Cameroon, probably Senegal being part of that mix. Yeah. But it was Morocco and not African side. And this is what it speaks. It speaks about that if you want to do it, you can do it from an African point of view. For me, I watched a game against Senegal between England. It was more about the mentality for me. The English side looks so spontaneous and good because the mentality is we've done enough. But Moroccans have shown that it can be done if we believe enough and we fight for it. The Moroccans fought for it. I think African countries can fight for it.
Well, but I think Rome wasn't built in a day, basically. We're not talking about the Moroccans enough. They used the FIFA funds to build facilities, for the stadium. And then they invested so much into football. Look at, what happened. The last CHAN, they were the winners. Look at what the women team did. The WAF built consistency using the monies that they've had to invest into football. That's basically why they're getting what they're getting right now. Imagine a home-based coach, taking them to this level of competition. It shows you that if you make the right investment into football, you can get dividends. So I think that's where I'm putting my conversation. You have to invest into football if you want to be like the Moroccans.
Use the right people.
Yeah, absolutely. So you make the right investment at this World Cup. Yes, they've got a bronze medal match to play against Croatia, and that comes up on Saturday. We'll talk more details tomorrow. Thank you, Blyden. Thank you, Marizona. I'm Bright James. Enjoy the rest of your day.